Hello. So, making a little sculpture thing inspired by Climb by, I'm going to put the name on the screen because I don't know how to pronounce it, and hopefully it's going to look something like this little guy. Okay, white balance is stored. We're going to see how it turns out. Got some clay. So I'm going to do a small one first, just so I can see like if I can reuse the clay afterwards. Does it stay sort of wet after the plaster has dried in it? How long does the plaster take to dry? Because it says on the pack that there's 10 minutes working time with 20 minutes drying time. It smells like glue. Don't sniff clay. That was bad. Bad health and safety. If you're working with like clay and plaster, make sure you're in a well ventilated room. I don't like the feel of this clay. Make sure you're in a well ventilated room, especially for the plaster, and that you're wearing clothes that you don't mind getting messy, because once you get sort of plaster on you, it's not really coming off. So I'm just wearing a jumper that I don't mind getting dirty because I don't actually like it. So the original piece was done in a massive, what was it? A 3.5 meter tall wooden tube. Why do I keep going out of white balance? I don't know. It was done in a massive like wooden tube. I don't have a massive wooden tube, so I'm going to use a toilet roll tube that I've just smushed out of shape. Maybe this won't work, but we'll see. I'm not sure how thick to make it because she used, how much clay? 3 tons of clay on the inside, and then she like put a harness on and everything and climbed up it, so when you actually look at the original you can see like her feet and like elbows and toes, fingers from where she's been. I'm going to put more because that doesn't look thick enough. Actually, screw the half one. I'm going to do my original idea. Uno memento. Okay, so originally I was going to take a full tube and just like wiggle my finger in it, and I am going to try and make a body, because my body of work at the minute is focusing on sort of the body and how I can sort of take, I suppose like how I can take the gender out of the body. Yeah, I'm still working on that. But I just really liked this piece. John showed it to me and I'm not really sure how to do this. Maybe if I build it up. So yeah, I'm gonna like put the clay in and smush it, because a lot of my work at the minute is like making bodies out of prints. So like put paint on my face and then sort of roll my face. I'm just gonna have to look like a ghost and you're gonna have to put up with it. And I'm sorry if you can hear my family shouting. Now I've lost my train of thought. This is great. I'm such a good YouTuber. Smash that in there. Yeah, it's focusing on the body, and I've like put paint on my face and on my body, and I'm making prints. A lot of the artwork I'm inspired by at the minute is artwork where the body is present but it's not. So it's like casts of the body or prints of the body. So you can tell it's the body, but the actual physical body that made it is not present, and I quite like that. So that's sort of what I'm doing with gender, you can see the body has a gender, male or female, but obviously I am a female that made it, so the gender of the artist doesn't necessarily come through, where, because I'm using my hands, so like using my hands to make boobs or using my hands to make like a chiseled chest and stuff. So while it is a male's body, it was done with female's hands and things like that, just to sort of play with it a little bit. I don't know necessarily if it comes through, but that's my idea. And I just really like skin texture, because it's like, in a way it's like a portrait, because everyone's skin's different, and when you do a portrait you're trying to capture the unique stuff of a person. Like their eyes are different, their smiles are different. That piece is too fat. So yeah, she lined it with clay, and then it's got my hair in it, and then she climbed up it and casted it with, I don't know if I'm going to be able to say that, fertin, something like that. So she basically casted a mould of her climbing up, which is why you can see like feet and toes and fingers, because she's like climbing up it, and then casted that, as opposed to casting herself, because she'd actually not be able to get out of that unless she knows Gormley and he teaches her how. Oh, I didn't put anything on my desk. Oh well. Tube of clay. I'm going to make it a bit thicker, I think, because I don't think you'll get much of an impression with that. And I don't necessarily want to use too much plastics. I think I want to make a few of these. I got another pack of clay, just to sort of play around and see what happens, see if I can get, because I'm not going to be able to see what I'm doing when like my finger's inside. Oh, there's something quite sexual about having your finger inside a squishy tube. Okay, I like that. Not having my fingers in squishy tubes, but I like the connotations behind it, I suppose. This side could do with thickening up. A lot of feedback I get on my crits is that I stop ideas from coming. So I sort of have an idea, think, nah, it's not going to work, or no, I can't do that, it doesn't link to my work. This necessarily doesn't link to my work, other than the body isn't being present. But when I started this project, that wasn't what I was looking at. It just sort of happened to go this way, because I was looking at, I was on a walk and I saw like all the kids' art in the windows, and it reminded me of like potato prints that you do as a kid, and for some reason that was like, hey, I'm gonna print my body, and it didn't click in my brain like, yeah, kids print their hands and stuff. I was like, potato print, body print, I don't know. So I was like, yeah, I'll print my face like a potato. And then John showed me Yves Klein and his human paintbrushes, and I really find it interesting, especially with sort of the backlash he got with him being a male artist, obviously instructing the female body to produce his artwork for him, essentially. And I find that quite interesting, because it's still his artwork, but the body's female, which is sort of where I'm going with my work, I guess. Like, the bodies aren't necessarily male or female, but they were done by a female, if I'm making any sense. I guess I'll see when I edit the video, if I edit the video. I don't know, I might just let it ramble. I don't know how thick to make it, because obviously she's got it quite 3 tons of clay is a lot, and I don't have a kilogram. 500 grams times 2 is a kilogram, I think. I'm not very good at maths. Yeah, I've cut that in half. Oh, where did my knife go? I don't remember. But yeah, if you're working with clay and you're allergic to it, or you start to get allergic reactions, you need to wear gloves and stuff. And sometimes if it gets a bit dry, it can get like cracky and like dusty, so make sure you've got a good ventilation in the room. This will actually be quite interesting to see how it turns out. Yeah, I chose a toilet roll tube because it's one of the only smallish round things I could think of, apart from like a kitchen roll tube, but I can't really stick my finger that far up there. And obviously like you can dispose of these once you're done with them. And they're recyclable. I'm not sure if you can recycle it once it's got clay on it though. Although clay is natural, so I suppose you could. So is plaster. Can you recycle plaster? Smash, smash, smash. So my first thought was to try a half one, just to see if I could get my idea to work, but it was like smushing out of shape, and I sort of wanted the roundness. Yeah, because I quite liked the phallicness of climb. I think that's thick enough. No, I don't know. I'm not going to smooth it out too much because I think that will add to it. And I'm rambling. Smush, smush, smush. And I'm sorry that the camera's shaking, you're just going to have to pretend it's an earthquake. My family must think I'm crazy just talking to myself louder than normal. I hope you can hear me because it's going to be really bad if I have to do this all again. So I'm just going to keep doing tiny little strips until I either get bored or I think it's enough. I don't know how thick to do it. Oops, I'm dropping clay everywhere. If you do this at home, make sure you hoover, because I don't know if dogs are allowed to eat clay. Probably not. Apparently humans can like eat clay, and they actually recommend it. Not doctors or anything, just like crazy people. Because I was doing a health and safety blog thing, and I like typed in, can you eat clay? And it was like, here's 10 health benefits to eating a tablespoon of clay every day. And I don't know about you, but I don't think that tastes very nice, because this just smells like PVA glue. But it says it's a natural clay, especially soft and pliable, specially adapted for children, can be air dried. Can be. Or you can put it in a kiln, but it must be hard dried. How do you hard dry it? My only concern is that it dries up at the same time as the plaster, because the plaster is exothermic, which means it gets hot and produces heat whilst it's drying. So obviously I don't want it to get hot and sort of cook. Oh my god, it's going to cook the clay. Maybe plaster wasn't a good idea. What could I use instead? I don't know, I'll figure that out when I come to it. This side's looking a bit better. Fear not, I shall fill you up. Oh, I didn't think about that. I've got palette knives, I can chip it off. I'll be like a archaeologist. Oh, that'd be fun. I've always wanted to be an archaeologist. Right, I think that's enough. Should I just say fuck it and put it all in? No, I'll put a bit more in. I don't want to... No, it's allowed to go wrong. But I also don't want to waste my clay because I have to buy more. So, where's my camera? Look at all the texture when it focuses, which it probably won't do. It won't focus, but still, there's lots of nice texture in there. Which I like. Rip. It's getting a bit harder to push my finger in there now, so there must be enough, or I need a wider tube. I'm going to try that. So my idea is to sort of have like, pretty sure I've already shown it you, but I'll show you again anyway. So it's like a person head. It's going to be like a fingerprint, chesticles, hips, fingers. So like, I did like copying my fingers when I was drawing. It's like, that's a knee, that's another knee. That would be like the chest, head, shoulders and arms. Like, I'm not going to be able to do that with only a finger. You know what I mean. We'll give it a go. It's going to be interesting to see how it turns out. And I think what I'm going to do is, because obviously it's a tube cylinder thing, it's open at both ends. So I might plug one end with clay so that the... Oh my god, what's it called? Plaster doesn't come out the other end, because that's just going to be a mess that I don't really have time for. So a lot of my work also has, it's like blood red, because my artwork's feminist for some reason. It just sort of went down that, and blood, because why not? So what I'm going to try and do is sort of like have paint on my fingers and push it into the clay, and then see if the plaster picks it up on it. So it's not like I've painted it, it's like it's already there. Because when I did a cast of my face in plaster, we used alginate on the face, and I had makeup on, and then obviously we took the alginate off, put it down, put plaster in it, and then when we took the plaster out, it had the makeup on from the alginate cast. So I want to see if I can do something similar with this. So in my bowl, I've got crimson, burnt sienna and ultramarine. Should I just use my finger? No. And I found that makes like the best blood colour. I only did a little bit because I don't want to waste paint, because again, I have to buy it and it'll take a little while to come. Although Amazon said they're like prioritising their shipping and stuff, but everything's still coming really quick. No, don't put that back in there. It's got paint on it. So I don't want a lot of paint, because I like it again when you can see the texture. If you put too much paint, it sort of, what's the word, disturbs it, like it sort of fills up the texture in your skin and then you can't necessarily see it. Smush, smush, smush. A bit more than that, maybe. And like tapping it on the side. Oh, it's tight. Bush. Okay. It's gonna be interesting to see what my nail does. Okay, so that's gonna be the head, and we need a. Where's the head? The head is there, and we need a shoulder a little bit. I'm gonna scrape it actually to get the shoulder. There's the head. Scrape for the shoulder. Why am I looking as if I can see? I could do with a bigger tube if I wanted to like get the knuckles in there. I am going to do a half tube just so I can get my knuckles and stuff in there. Yeah, I think I'm going to do that. Okay, now I've completely lost where I am. So I've got a head somewhere. Oh god. I think that's my head. Okay. And then boobs. Or chest. Drag the abdomen. Can I get 2 fingers in here? Probably not actually. I'm gonna try anyway. Looks like he's had a poo. So I have no idea what that looks like, but I think it's a big butt, as my mum says. I'm gonna try that. Fill up the hole. Okay, so my little thingamajiggy is done. That's that one. It's dark in there. Don't know why I'm trying to have a look. I don't eat carrots, so I can't see in the dark. That burns. If you have cuts on your fingers, don't use clay unless you're wearing gloves. Tip of the day. I don't know if I'm going to put a little tiny bit more in the middle because I don't want it to seep out. Oops. There we go. We'll see how that goes. Oh god. I have a feeling it's going to be awful, but I think it might look really funny. Okay, so there's that one. I might as well... That's got stuff on it, Becca. I might as well do the half one while I'm here. So I don't have to make up 2 separate lots of plaster. And don't choke on your gum while you do it. You can't even see that because there's a plate in the way. Why do I think this is going to work when it didn't work the first time? Do I even need the cardboard for this one? I could just do a thing. Looks like a turd. Just do it like this. So, bit fatter, I think. Smush. It's not going to be as I'll open the second one because I want it to be quite thick. Oh, she's thick. Don't cut towards yourself, that's how you stab yourself. Once your clay's open, you can reuse it if you keep it in a airtight thingy-majig. Container is the word. That'll do. I thought I went off then. Give it a tap. Tap, tap, tap. Push in the head. Oh yes. Okay, that works. And shoulder and the arm. It looks like an elephant. Or an alien. Boobs. I do like the texture though. And I said some hips. Hips. And then I'm not sure how much like a person it's gonna look, but I tried. Okay. Ooh, that's got a nail in it. Obviously, but it'll be interesting to see once it's, because obviously that's inverted. Now I'm going to build up around it just so the plaster has somewhere to go and doesn't go all over my desk. Make some sausages. Build your walls quite high. That needs to be higher. How do I make that higher? Stop putting stuff in front of the camera, Jesus. Stay. Stay. Use rolling pins and tools and stuff, but I don't because I'm a goblin. I suppose I just use scissors, they're tools. I'm actually very interested to see how this turns out now. Move the walls so that nothing comes out. Smooth, smooth, smooth. Like so. Oops. Ah, stop breaking. Looks a bit hunched, but that's cool. Like, smash, 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 smash. Like I'm building a little tomb. It's not morbid at all. I just added a little dent into the foot to see if I could get like a shoe. Well, maybe not a shoe, maybe just a normal foot. Don't know why I thought about a shoe. I'll push the hips in a bit more. Bit from there just to plug that up. It's very thinny. Not sure what will happen, but we shall see. Oh, I flicked that. So I got a plastic knife pulled out of thin air to probably left it too long for the paint now, but oh well. So I'm going to use some plaster. Oops. Because I thought that's probably like the easiest thing I could buy. Just going to open my window to keep it ventilated. So it says, add 1 kilogram of powder to 50 millilitres of water. So it's a 2-to-1 powder to water. Not really sure how to measure that out. Hello. But if you want it harder, you add less water. If you want it softer, you add more water. I'll probably go for harder, but it'll probably just end up being harder by accident. There we go. Excuse me. Water. This is mix it until it's a paste. And don't do what I just did. I'm using disposable stuff because once this is on it, it will not come off. Which is why you see like decorators and stuff just like absolutely covered in it. Absolutely plastered in it. Sorry, I had to. I don't know what I'm doing, I'm making this up as I go along. Oh, tickling my nose. Probably should have got a deeper dish, but this is the only disposable one we had. Stop breathing. Oh, stop it. It's on my chair. Probably should have got a whisk, not a knife. But oh well, we may do with what we got. Ah, stop it. I don't know. Ah, too much. I don't know what I'm doing. I feel like this is going to be too much now. And I've only got 10 minutes to work with it, so... And how long the clay takes to dry. So if this is 10 minutes working time and 20 minutes hardening time, that means it's roughly half an hour. So if the clay takes like 20 minutes, and it's been half an hour since I've been filming. The clay's okay. like a yogurt, a runny yogurt consistency. So it's in about 20 minutes from mixing, depends on water temperature. This is room temperature, water temperature. We'll just have to see what happens. Oh, I've committed, it's happened. It wasn't enough. Whoops. Please don't leak all over my desk. Oh, it smells funny. That's because it's pasta, probably. Tap it to get any air bubbles out. Oh, I have a horrible feeling that's going to leak all over my desk. Please don't leak on my desk and I'll love you forever. Oh, it's a good job I don't. Oh, I actually like these leggings. Oh, whoops. Don't wear clothes you like. Okay. So I'm going to make up a little bit more to put in the tube. Not a lot of water, little tiny bit. That's probably too much. Or completely not a lot at all. Water. It's all fun and games, it's just trial and error. Why are you so thick? What's happening? Oh, stop. I made a paste. Put it. Oh my god, I could paint with this. Oh, that'd be fun. I know what I'm doing next. Okay. I have an idea for what I'm doing next. Oh, but it says don't put it on your skin because it gets hot. I've got gloves. Okay, we're not leaking yet, so that's good. And maybe use plastic disposable stuff instead of paper, because I'm getting like little tiny paper bits in it. It's like a weird paper mache. I'm going to do a little bit just so it fills the whole tube and I can see what the whole thingy looks like. And if I've got any more, I'll fill the whole thing as well. Oh, why have I done that? That's going to be way too much water. I'm just going to go for that weird like yogurt consistency thingy-majiggy again. Don't want to use too much because I do have an idea to use it for something else. Stop lumping up. When we did the face cast, they use like a whisk. I'm sure I've been doing this for more than 10 minutes. It's going to go lumpy and crusty and gross. Okay, pour this into this. Make sure that is secured. Okay, I made way more than I thought I'd need. And I didn't mix it very well by the looks of this. We'll just have to see how it sets. Hopefully, oh shit. I mean, sugar. Gotta wait and see. Okay, so the plaster is in its green state, which means it's dry, but you can like sand it and stuff. The clay's still wet, exactly the same as it was when I first started moulding it. I was just going to see if I can pop the clay out of the toilet roll tube, but I don't think I'm going to be able to. There's a fly. No, I'm not going to be able to. No, when it's in its green state, it's very fragile, so gotta be careful. And I'm going to do it while it's in its... I'm going to do this one first. No, the paint stuck to the clay, not the figure. Actually, it didn't work out how I thought it was going to, but it worked out really well. So I thought it was going to be like the face, and you'd get the hips and stuff like that, but so this is where I thought the face was going to be. So I did like face, shoulders, this was the chest, but it actually looks like sort of the head's back, these are the shoulders, and like maybe a back muscle, and the sort of like this is the butt, it's really pronounced, and this is like a leg. So while it didn't turn out how I expected it to, it actually turned out really well. There's a little bit of red, so I want it to stand. I'm not sure how well it will stand. I might have to make it a stand. But because it's in its green state, I'm going to flatten it with my knife. Like I said, you have to be really careful because it's still fragile. Go away, fly. I'll figure out a way to make it stand. But there's this one. I don't know, I really like it. It definitely was not what I was expecting. It's the complete opposite. But it's really interesting. So there's that one. I'll stand it upside down for now. And I've still got all the clay. Oh my god, I'm going to sneeze. Don't sneeze on camera. That would be gross. Which is why you have ventilation, peoples. So I think this one is going to turn out more like my idea. But again, I have absolutely no idea. Take off the walls. Oops. I broke that. It's kind of like a spider. I might try that one again. I'm going to try this one again, but not on camera because that was a really long video. It's interesting. I just don't think I pressed in deep enough, and I think it needs to be wider and thicker, so I'm going to use like both sets of clay to see how that works. It definitely has some potential. I just need to get like the ratio right. Stop breaking it. But yeah, none of the paint transferred onto the plaster. I like the sound of it though, it sounds cool. But yeah, I'll try again.